What is happening, guys? It's your boy TC back with another video. So we march on to Cardiff. Cardiff is the next game in the Premier League. We are facing them at home. So of course the big talking point in regards to Cardiff themselves would be the fact that they lost a striker that they had just signed, and the guy never kicked a football for them. Essentially, it was a very sad story. The search still continues. However, I do believe the police have called off the search, which is completely unacceptable in my opinion. However, people are banding together. Crowdfunding is being sourced as we speak, and reports were surfacing that N'Golo Kante, obviously he was his former teammate, has actually volunteered to pay and fund for the search itself. But of course they are still looking for the player, so that's extremely sad. But returning to the football, Cardiff themselves have been sort of up and down within the Premier League. Of course they're extreme favourites to be relegated within the Premier League this season, so essentially I would want to say that this is going to be an easy game. We have played them at home at their stadium, and on the occasion we came out winners, and I do believe Lacazette scored that massive rocket, tight angle, fantastic goal that he scored on that day. But we do face them again on the return fixture in the Premier League, and of course we have our own woes in terms of our defensive issues. So of course Nacho Monreal, I believe, he's only made something like 6 to 9 starts in the Premier League this season. He hasn't played, so that is the logical replacement for the two missing centre-backs to be partnered with Mustafi. But of course, I don't know how that would work. Of course, he has had a few hamstring issues over the season, but we have Dinos Mavropanos. So Mavropanos is someone that we saw at the tail end of last season, ended up getting a red card at Man United, but we haven't seen him feature since, and he was one of those Sven Mislintat signings, so we know Sven is leaving now, but he was one of those signings that he bought in, I'd like to believe, and essentially he came in for £2 million, which wasn't a lot of money, and at the time a lot of eyebrows were raised when he was signed. Same thing with Rob Holding, he was only signed for £2 million, again raised a lot of eyebrows, but from what we've seen and what we saw from Mavropanos, it looked like a decent player. He's big, physical, so I do believe this is his chance to actually get into the team and sort of try and contribute and help the team moving forward, because the month ahead is going to be an extremely difficult month in terms of the Cardiff game. That will potentially be a bogey game for us. It might be a banana skin game where we might slip up and end up losing that 5th position we're desperately clinging on to. Man United are hot on our heels, and as it stands, they're in fantastic form. I can't see them losing the game anytime soon. I'm not too sure who they're facing, but they're obviously in good form, so we're obviously competing for that top 4 position with them. Of course, Spurs have hit a bad patch, so hopefully they'll be dropping some points. Chelsea catches up with them, we keep pace, and the race for that top 4 is certainly on, but we're extremely under a lot of pressure as it stands. The boss is under a lot of pressure. He will need to earn his money now in terms of actually organising the team. I don't want to see Xhaka at centre-back. That is the last thing I'd want to see. Of course, we've seen Xhaka play centre-back before, and that was an absolutely awful sight. So hopefully the boss is brave enough to bring in Mavropanos, or one of the Spanish kids that we saw in one of the cup games. Again, I can't say his name, but he seemed decent enough in that central position in defence. And of course, Mustafi, who's obviously not stable enough to be actually leading the defence. But hopefully the boss will be brave enough to bring in Mavropanos and actually sort out the whole situation. So of course, 3 points are a must in this game. We need to pick up those 3 points. In terms of my predicted starting lineup, this is going to be extremely difficult. But in goal, obviously, Bernd Lerno. He's obviously the #1 keeper at the club now, cemented his place in goal. At right back, I don't know if the boss is going to continue with Maitland-Niles, so we may see Maitland-Niles. I'd like to see Carl Jenkinson get a run out. Not a big fan, but what might like to see him get a little run out. Of course, it's Cardiff. Don't take any games for granted in the Premier League, of course, but hopefully the boss can bring him into the team as well. He might certainly revive his career and actually reinstate himself amongst the fans. In the centre of defence, Mustafi, of course, as mentioned, he may be partnered with Nacho Monreal as well as Kolasinac on the other side. And I do hope the boss goes back with the 3 in the midfield, which was Guendouzi, Torreira, as well as Xhaka. And then up top, we will most likely have Aubameyang, Lacazette, And if Mkhitaryan's fit, I do believe the boss will start Mkhitaryan on the day, but we'll obviously have to wait and see what that starting lineup will be. So, of course, I predict most likely a 3-1 score to Arsenal, of course, and that should keep us in the hunt for that top 4 position and keep pace with the rest of the teams around us. But as usual, please do let me know what you think in the comments below. If you're watching this video and you're not subscribed to the channel, please do make sure that you do hit that subscribe button. So once again, guys, your boy TC from I'm Gonna Talk TV, and I'm out.